In the depths of space, a dark and eerie silence enveloped the newly discovered planet where humans were establishing a colony. As they battled the planet's harsh environment, they were also exhilarated by the prospect of building a new world. However, this silence was abruptly shattered by the arrival of massive Xantho ships, which loomed over the colony like dark shadows, obscuring the sky. Commander Arya Stern, conducting a status assessment in the control center, was suddenly jolted by the blaring alarms. The screens displayed the Xantho ships, causing Arya's heart to skip a beat. She took a deep breath and turned to her team, saying, "Everyone stay calm. We'll get this under control." Her voice was steady and confident, though her eyes betrayed the anxiety she felt, knowing how dangerous the Xantho could be. Commander, those are Xantho ships. They're technologically far superior to us." "What are we going to do?" asked a young soldier in the control center, his voice trembling. Arya knew it was crucial to prevent panic among her team. Take a deep breath, soldier. The Xantho may be intelligent and powerful, but so are we. We'll start with diplomacy. Perhaps we can reach an agreement with them, she said, her voice resolute. And if we can't reach an agreement? Another soldier asked. Arya's gaze hardened. Then we will fight. But first, let's give diplomacy a chance. Don't underestimate its power. Arya opened a diplomatic communication channel and sent a message to the Xantho. We are here on a peaceful mission. We have no hostile intentions towards you. Please make contact with us, she said, straining to keep her voice steady. However, the response was not as friendly as she had hoped. The Xantho leader established a telepathic link, entering Arya's mind directly. A deep, chilling voice echoed, "Humans, this planet is ours. You have no place here. Leave immediately or face dire consequences." Arya felt the threat echoing in her mind deeply. She realized how grave a mistake it would be to underestimate the Xantho's power. Yet she would not retreat in the face of this threat. We also have a right to live on this planet. We can find a peaceful solution, she said, but the voice in her mind only responded with a mocking laugh. Disappointed by the Xantho's refusal and threats, Arya knew how challenging it would be to secure the colony's safety. However, she would never give up. Looking at the soldiers in the control center, she said, "I know you're scared. I'm scared too. But this is our home and we must protect it. No power can drive us away from here." One of the soldiers couldn't hold back his tears. "Commander, I'm afraid I'll never see my family again," he said, his voice trembling. Arya placed a hand on the soldier's shoulder and said, "We all have loved ones. But we're here to protect them. We will be strong, we will stand together, and we will win this fight." As the Xantho gave humanity a deadline to leave the planet, Arya and her team began working on defense plans. Arya analyzed the planet's strategic points and the possible routes of a Xantho attack. We can win this battle, she thought to herself, but we need to work together and be a team." Arya took one last look at her team. Each one was brave, determined, but also frightened. But there was hope in Arya's eyes. "This isn't just a battle," she said, "this is our fight for survival. And we will survive." The atmosphere of the planet was heavy and suffocating. Each step brought rising hot steam from deep cracks in the ground, merging with poisonous gases emerging on the surface, making it hard for the colonists to breathe. The rocky surface was covered with eerie and alien plants. These plants emitted a faint blue glow in the dark, making the night even more ominous. Everything seemed to scream that this planet did not want humans. The surface was filled with sharp rocks and dangerous cliffs. Massive mountains rose into the sky, their peaks shrouded in dark clouds. When Arya looked at this gloomy landscape, she felt that it was not just a physical but also a spiritual challenge. The hot, humid air, occasional acid rains, and volcanic mountains ready to erupt made the planet a nearly uninhabitable place. The Xantho were larger and more muscular than humans, covered in smooth skin varying between black and gray. Their eyes glowed with a bright blue light, giving the impression that they were peering into the depths of one's soul. They had a small protrusion instead of a nose and a thin slit instead of a mouth. Their hands had 3 fingers, each ending in long, slender claws. These beings had a look that erased the fine line between technology and organic life. Some parts of their bodies had a metallic sheen. Arya formed a small team to explore the Xantho Temple. The temple was located deep within the planet, accessible through a natural cave inside a rocky mountain. As Arya approached the temple, she was filled with a strange sense of unease. A voice in her mind warned her to turn back. But turning back was against Arya's nature. Commander, this place feels unnatural. It's as if they don't want us here, said Lieutenant Harris, scanning the surroundings with his analysis device. This temple might be the source of the Xantho's power, Arya replied, her eyes fixed on the temple entrance. If we can reach it, we might find a way to defeat them. What if they trap us inside the temple? Harris asked, trying to hide his concern. Arya took a deep breath and turned to her team. It's a risk, yes. But we must take it. If we can find the Xantho's technology and weaknesses in this temple, we can protect the colony. I need not just courage from you, but faith as well. Harris and the others felt the strength of Arya's words. Her determination gave them hope. When they entered the temple, the sight was breathtaking. The interior was adorned with intricate carvings depicting the Xantho's history and galactic dominance. The temple was lit by a faint blue light that cast a mystical atmosphere as it reflected off the walls. As they ventured deeper into the temple, Arya and her team discovered a massive crystalline structure that housed the Xantho's energy. When Arya looked at this crystal, an image flashed in her mind. She saw how the Xantho had annihilated other races in the galaxy and how they derived their power from this crystal. This fleeting vision grew into a surge in Arya's mind, shaking her. The Xantho were not only powerful but also ruthless and merciless. Commander, are you all right? Asked Harris, noticing that Arya had paused for a moment. Arya took a deep breath and pulled her gaze away from the crystal, regaining her composure. This crystal. It's the source of their power, she said, her voice trembling. But at the same time, it could also be their greatest weakness. If we destroy it, we might be able to stop the Xantho. Just then, movement stirred within the temple. The Xantho guards, who had been stationed to protect the crystal, sprang into action. Massive creatures emerged from the walls, surrounding Arya and her team. Without a moment's hesitation, Arya shouted, "Get ready, we're fighting." Suddenly, the air was filled with laser fire and the cries of battle. Arya fought with all her courage, but the enemies were formidable. Still, there was not a trace of fear in her eyes. She was solely focused on protecting her team and completing the mission. The battle was intense for Arya and her team. The Xantho guards, with their superior strength, put the humans in a tough spot. Yet Arya's leadership kept the team's morale high. Eventually, Arya reached the crystal and placed an explosive, whispering to herself, "This will be their end." As they retreated after setting the explosive, a deafening explosion erupted from the temple. The crystal shattered, and the temple began to collapse. Arya managed to get her team out with a final effort. The temple, along with the Xantho's source of power, was destroyed, but the victory came at a heavy cost. Arya, looking at the faces of the soldiers beside her, was reminded once again of the significant losses they had suffered. Yet, this was just the end of one battle. A larger war was about to begin. Arya took a deep breath as she gazed at the ruins of the temple. "This is only the beginning," she murmured, a mix of sadness and determination on her face. We will stop them, no matter the cost." The Xantho's pressure on the planet was increasing day by day. The human colony had to contend with both the harsh natural conditions and the constant threats from the Xantho. Hope had given way to anxiety within the colony. It was unclear when and where the Xantho's next attack would come, keeping Arya and her team on constant alert. As the colony tried to resist against the Xantho's technological superiority, the morale of the humans was dwindling. Some were starting to consider that retreating and abandoning the planet might be the most logical option. Tensions were rising in the control center. While Arya was deeply engrossed in the map at the control center, Lieutenant Harris approached her with concern. Commander, the Xantho are mocking us. No matter where we hide, they find us. Shouldn't we consider leaving this planet?" he asked, his voice trembling. Arya's eyes shifted from the map to Harris's. We can't do that, Harris. This is a fight not just for us but for the future of humanity. If we give up now, the Xantho will attack other planets. Running away isn't a solution. Another officer, the young and inexperienced Private Dawson, interjected with worry. But Commander, resisting their technology is almost impossible. We're outnumbered and our resources are running low. How much longer can we hold out? Arya took a deep breath, maintaining the determination in her eyes as she looked at her team. We came here not just to survive but to fight. Humans never give up easily. Yes, we're in a tough spot, but we have no choice but to fight. We need to win this war. Seeing Arya's resolve, Harris took a step back. Commander, I trust you. Whatever needs to be done, we're with you. Just then, the radar operator shouted alarmingly. Commander, the Xantho have deployed several warships into orbit. Their target is our base. They'll be attacking in a few minutes. Arya immediately sprang into action. Hey everyone, take defensive positions. Prepare for the attack, she ordered. Her team quickly began preparing the control center for battle. As the Xantho ships approached the base from orbit, the sky ominously turned red. Seeing the energy bursts heading toward the base, Arya prayed silently. This is going to be a powerful attack, she thought. But rather than discouraging her, this thought only motivated her further. When the shockwave of the explosion hit the base, the ground shook. The base was rocked by a massive explosion, walls cracked, and many pieces of equipment were damaged. Arya was thrown to the ground by the force of the tremor, but she quickly got up. Everyone report in. What's the situation? She shouted. A technician, working frantically to repair a device, responded. Commander, our shields are severely damaged. If another attack comes, they won't hold up. Arya, watching the engineers working furiously, tried to suppress her sense of helplessness. There's one more option, she thought to herself. We could launch a final attack and surprise them. Either we risk everything or we are completely doomed. Returning to the control center, Arya made her decision. We're pooling all our energy and launching a direct assault on the Xantho ships. This will be a move they aren't expecting. We'll either win or lose, but we can't give up without trying. Her team looked at her in shock. Commander, this is very risky. If we fail, we won't have anything left to defend ourselves with, Harris warned. Arya looked boldly into Harris's eyes. I'm aware of that. But if this is our last chance, we have to take it. I need all of you to fight with everything you have. Together, we can make this work. As Arya's plan went into action, the attacks on the base continued with full force. The Xantho ships were delivering deadly blows to the base, while Arya and her team pooled all their energy together. Now! Arya shouted with a final hope. The base concentrated all its energy into a single explosion and sent a massive energy wave toward the Xantho ships. When the wave hit the Xantho ships, there was a moment of silence. Then, the explosion of the Xantho ships shook the entire planet. The Xantho ships exploded one after another, and the attack on the base suddenly ceased. Arya and her team, seeing the Xantho ships destroyed and the attack ended, felt a great sense of relief. However, the cost of this victory was high. Many people had lost their lives in the attacks on the base. There was a moment of silence in the control center. Arya experienced a bittersweet pride in their victory. Her eyes were filled with the emptiness of the lost lives. This is only a victory, she murmured, but the war isn't over. We must find a way to defend this planet without incurring further losses. Harris approached Arya and placed his hand on her shoulder. Commander, this victory was thanks to you. We're all grateful to you, he said. Arya looked at Harris with tears in her eyes. The cost of this victory was too high. We won't forget them. But we will continue to fight. For them. This section concluded with Arya experiencing both the pride of victory and the pain of loss. The war would continue, but Arya, with her team, was determined to uphold humanity's honor and future. I hope you had a good time. If you liked my story, do not forget to comment and subscribe to my channel. Goodbye, see you in the next story.